Hello, welcome to another Tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I am bringing you a demonstration of today is called Forest Trail. It's a 7 by 10. Painted it back in, I'm thinking, November, December of last year, and it's based on some reference from I took from a trip my wife and I took back in August or so, and we took a little hike down to this waterfall. And boy, the hike back was something else. Let me tell you, wow, that was steep. And the good news is I didn't have a heart attack or anything, so I lived to tell the tale. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with the way the painting turned out. And it's not like actually a painting of there's not much in it. It's really just sort of a woodland sort of composition. It's kind of about color and feel. And there is definitely composition involved. I mean, the trick when you're doing this kind of painting is what you leave out. Actually, the trick when you do any painting, I'll tell you right now, is what you leave out. But even more so if you're going to try and do densely forested areas or anything like that, you really need to leave a lot of things out. So if you're working with photo reference, you better be cool. Don't be a fool. Stay in school. Yeah. Which I did. I was cool, and I'm real happy with the way it turned out. It went together pretty easy, and it's a nice little painting, and I'm happy to present it to you today. I get some requests in the comments about more information about the paintings. It's rough because, all the paintings are just done the way I do paintings. This is done on a textured board. The board is, the color on the background of the board is burn umber. I have an extensive video on my texturizing process. The texture is important because it gives you something to work off of. Now, if you're painting on canvas, you'll be working off the canvas texture. I don't much like the canvas texture. It feels mechanical to me, so I tend to spend quite a lot of time and effort in getting my boards to feel just right, to have just the right amount of texture, not too much, not too little. It needs to be organic and effective. Anyway, sorry for the sniffle there. I just sneezed. In fact, my second recording, I was a little ways in when I had a big sneeze, but hey. Colors used, heck. Well, normally, like I'm doing my drawing earlier with some black and some of my medium, which is archival brand Odorless Lean. Pardon me again for the other sniffle. I tried to get all that out of the way before I started recording, but best laid plans of mice and men and all that. Now, you see I'm going in with some color. It's some variation of white or cream. I never use full white from the tube. I mean, it's always modified. Probably a little yellow ochre in there, a little raw umber, kind of kill the color. I'm going to do some pretty extensive glazing on this towards the end too. That's what gives it the very strong yellow feel. And a lot of people like that effect. I feel like I might have went a little overboard with that, but yeah, what's done is done. It's still a good painting. Green, a lot of green in this. Basically, it's all just, I'm using quite a lot of my underground, my ground color, which is the burnt umber. You can leave a lot of that showing because, we're talking about dirt, and it's like the color of dirt. It's also fine to leave in the leaf areas. Big chunks of that left. If you're curious as to how much exactly, you can go to my website where I'll be posting this video on my blog. And with the videos, I always post a pretty good resolution image and then some zoom-ins. So the zoom-ins definitely tell the tale of how much I leave showing. Which is quite a lot. So that color factored in, and a lot of raw umber, a bit of white. Mike's green is comprised of Hansa yellow, medium, and black. But you know what? You get a really cool green if you add yellow to raw umber as well. That's something I was playing with on a painting yesterday. So most tube greens don't work very well for painting. The exception maybe being sap green, but sap green is such a blah color. It doesn't really have much coverage, and I can mix a color like sap green, in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, as they say. So I don't have sap green in my palette. I make Mike's green and modify it. Like I can make it cool by adding a bit of phthalo or phthalo blue or phthalo green. I can warm it up more by adding burnt sienna. I can really get a nice result when I start adding in permanent orange. I do all those things. So there you go. There's some information about the painting. But I have to say, I don't intend to doing that all the time because, what's in it for the artist here? Not much. Maybe something in it for you. Maybe not. What I would say is that the best way to learn how to paint is by doing paintings, not by watching videos. Much as I appreciate all you guys coming and watching me paint, but these videos function mostly as entertainment, and also entertainment that's designed to give you some insight and perspective and ideas, but not remedial. There's other guys on YouTube for that, and I encourage you to find them if you're at a remedial level. That touches on something I wanted to say though. Look, if enough people want me to do some sort of more basic video where I walk you through everything, if I get 10 people contacting me through my site that they want something like this, I'll put it together. 10's enough to justify the amount of effort that would be involved. I have a few things that are like that up on my channel. If you search, there's a playlist for a study I did after Georgia Ness that's real time, and also a little painting study that was originally only for people on my mailing list that I ended up just letting everyone have access to. That's a very small 5x5, and I actually had a piece of glass up on my palette so you could see me doing all the mixing and stuff too. So that's there. But really, at the end of the day, these things are cool and they might be helpful, but the best thing to do is, if you want to learn painting, is to get some paints and some brushes and something to paint on, and maybe a photo reference or some sort of copy of a painting you want to make a study after, and just sit down and start trying to do it, because you're going to learn what works and what doesn't that way. Whereas I could give you pointers from here till the end of time, and it's not going to add up to much, to be honest. In fact, where I think my channel is most valuable is to the intermediate to advanced painter that's just looking for some insight and maybe someone to commiserate with, or I can definitely teach people at those levels, and I can help people get better, but I'm not really into this starting people out thing. So that said, if you ever have a question, even if you think it's very remedial or basic, you're more than welcome to contact me. You can ask the question in the comments, and I'm never mean or rude. I'll always answer every question. I'm not so big of a channel as of yet that I can't do that. So if you do have some sort of question you're really pondering and you need an answer to it, you can ask and I'll answer. So there you go. Just a little time left in the video today. By the way, today is Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. And in the studio today, I had students all day. So normally I like to do these videos around lunchtime, but it's the end of my day. It's around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and thought I'd go ahead and get this done for you before getting into dinner. So just to get to I guess there was a bit of lecturing already in the earlier part of the video. I want to talk a little bit about failing. I've talked about this before, but this kind of ties into what I'm I'm saying on the other thing, it's like, why aren't people just doing more paintings and learning how to do that? Well, they don't want to fail. Like they go out and blow a bunch of money on some premium art supplies, and they buy some high grade canvas, or even if it's crap canvas, whatever, it's sitting there, it's looking at them, and they're like, oh man, I don't want to fuck this up. Pardon my French. I don't want to mess this up. And so they get immobilized through fear of failure. But my advice to you, if that is the problem you have, is just to just get some whatever kind of paint. It doesn't really matter. When you're starting out, it doesn't matter. That's why they have student grade paints. A limited palette so that you can play around with learning how to mix color instead of trying to buy the perfect color. You can just mix the colors you need, and if you find you're struggling, then you can add to your palette. But it's really good to know what you need. So I start with the base palette. I've handled that in the past. We don't have time to get into all that now, but there is a whole breakdown of my color palette also on my channel. Just type in the word palette. My spelling. Someone told me I spelled it wrong, but I don't know any other way to spell it. So that would be Pallet is how I spell it. And so that's what you would want to put into the search thing for my channel. But don't be afraid to fail, which sounds trite when I say it, but honestly there's some strategies for getting around this. One, instead of going after one big masterpiece, that's where I see most people failing. Just do a bunch of small studies and just get used to moving the paint around, having fun. And don't set out to make your first painting anything that's like impregnated with meaning. It should just be little studies. Make a paint a seashell, or paint a whatever you're into. It could be anything. It should just be something relatively simple, so that you can just kind of get some paint down on the board and start moving paint around and having fun with it. And I recommend smaller over larger, because larger can be quite immobilizing for the amateur. Not every amateur, but quite a few. So if it's small, you don't worry. It's not a big deal. If you mess it up, you throw it away. By the way, let's say you go after something and you mess it up. You're very discouraged. You never want to paint again. My strong recommendation would be to do another painting right then and there. Just get over it. Anyway, we're getting kind of close to the end. Thank you for joining me today, and all you new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. There's a lot of videos on the channel. If you do like this video, I don't know, give me one of those thumbs up things, and subscribe if you haven't already, and you put that little bell notification thing on. It tells you when I actually post. I usually do 2 a week, but they're not always on the same exact day. But anyway, I'll be back this coming weekend with another Past Masters video. Meanwhile, please take good care and stay out of trouble.